This man was killed 3 times. This is the Lindow Man. He was discovered in 1984, preserved in a peat bog in Cheshire, and he remains one of the most important archaeological discoveries ever made in Britain. I'm Louise, I'm an archaeologist, and in this video we're going to be exploring this bog body, and exactly what it means that he was killed 3 times. Lindow Man was found on the 1st of August 1984 by commercial peat cutters working at Lindow Moss near Wilmslow in Cheshire. This wasn't the first time human remains had been discovered at Lindow Moss. The year before, a skull, later nicknamed Window Woman, had been found. Police initially suspected it might have belonged to a woman who had disappeared in the 1960s. More on this in a future video. One of the workers mistook the object for a piece of wood. Once the peat fell away, it revealed a human foot. The police were called immediately. Fortunately, a local journalist was tipped off the discovery and contacted the county archaeologist to ensure the site wasn't left solely to the police. Within days, the rest of the body was recovered in a single block and transported for analysis. It soon became clear this wasn't a missing modern person. The body was radiocarbon dated and determined to be male. Lindow Moss is a peat bog formed after the last ice age, created by melting ice leaving hollows that slowly fill with water and vegetation. Peat bogs can preserve human bodies in remarkable ways, but only under very specific conditions. The water must be cold, acidic, and lacking oxygen. Moisture levels must remain stable, and sphagnum moss plays a crucial part in tanning human skin in a similar way to leather. That's why Lindow Man still had skin, hair, and even facial features intact nearly 2,000 years later. Lindow Man's discovery almost immediately caused a media sensation. He was nicknamed Peat Marsh and Peat Bog, and images of his preserved face appeared around the world. More importantly, his discovery transformed British archaeology. Before Lindow Man, bog bodies in Britain had received very little attention, especially compared to famous examples from Denmark. After 1984, renewed research revealed that there were far more bog bodies existed in Britain than previously thought. Dating Lindow Man has never been straightforward. Radiocarbon dates taken from the piece around the body revealed a date of 3000 BC. But dates taken directly from the body point to a period between 2 BC and 119 CE. This places his death in either the late Iron Age period or the early Roman period. Most archaeologists tend to go with the Iron Age date because of how he died, which we will get to, but the question does remain open. At the time of his death, Lindow Man was a healthy man in his mid-20s. He stood around 5'6" to 5'8", with trimmed facial hair, neat fingernails, and good teeth. His body shows little evidence of doing hard manual labour, suggesting he may have been of relatively high status. Apart from a fox fur armband, he was found completely naked. He suffered from minor osteoarthritis and intestinal parasites, but these were quite common for the time period, and not signs of poor health. Once the peat was cleaned away, the injuries became clear. Lindow Man had suffered a blow hard enough to fracture his skull, ligature marks around his neck from a tightened cord, a broken neck, and possibly a stab wound to the chest. Swelling from the head injury shows that even briefly he did survive this, and the cord around the neck may have acted as a garrote. This combination of injuries is often described as overkill, far more extravagant violence than needed for a simple execution or murder. It suggests that how he died mattered. Analysis of his stomach contents revealed his final meal. It was a cereal-based food, likely a barley cake that had been lightly burned. Mistletoe pollen in his stomach suggested he died in early spring, around March or April. Because of the injuries, the final meal, and the bog setting, many archaeologists believe Lindow Man suffered a ritual death. One theory argues he suffered a triple death: the head wound, strangulation, and a slit throat, and this was done as a sacrifice to multiple gods. The partially burned meal may have been part of a ritual selection process. This could make him a high-ranking druid who was sacrificed in a last-ditch effort to call upon the aid of the Celtic gods to stop the Roman invasion of northern England. This, however, is just one interpretation that does rely a lot on the Iron Age date being the correct one. Some archaeologists suggest that he may have been victim of violent robbery, but I would personally disagree with this, as this level of violence is so extravagant. We may never know exactly why Lindow Man died, but even without definite answers, Lindow Man changed British archaeology forever. He revived an interest in bog bodies and shows a window into how violence, ritual, and meaning can be deeply connected in the past. Lindow Man isn't just a body, he is an example of belief, power, and shocking violence, preserved perfectly for 2,000 years. What do you think happened to Lindow Man? Let me know in the comments and follow for more archaeology content. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok, and links to a blog post about this down below. Have a great rest of your day.